What's going on, guys? PXCam20 back in with a brand new video. We are finally back here for a brand new season of FIA racing, and I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, it did not go according to plan. Penalty. Penalty. Oh. So yeah, that's basically how our day was going out when it came to running around this race. So if you guys did not know, we decided to go along with picking Dodge for our manufacturer. So we are going to be driving the Dodge Viper for both Group 4 and Group 3. And we had already done a couple of races before this one. And again, just things did not work out well. I think we finished in 12th, and the other one we got a 10th. But for this one, we have a really great chance of getting a lot of points here, as we are ranked 9th place in this lobby. But if we do get first, we can get a good chunk of points there and get 266 if we finish in first place. We do have the car, but do we have the skills and the patience to get around here without getting any penalties and making sure that we hit our marks and get a really great finish here for the first race for the season? So I don't want to waste any more of your time before we jump into the video. If you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the videos. It really helps out the channel when you guys do so. Anyways, that is enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into this race. As we jump into qualifying, this is going to be very, very important just because of the nature of the track. It's a very small track with not a lot of overtaking zones. And coming after our first lap here, we're on our first flyer, crossing the start-finish line. We get a 51.9, so fairly decent lap time, but not good enough to get us in the pole. So go for another attempt here. We have a Viper right ahead of us of DNA Judica, as he's in our way just a little bit. Doesn't hinder us too much. He actually gives a little bit of slipstream as he gets a half a second penalty. Cross the start finish line, and we get a 51.8. So we're getting very, very close, but we only have 4 seconds left to try to make another attempt of a qualifying lap. And unfortunately, we just run out of time. That if we would have made it just a second sooner, we should have been able to get another qualifying lap, and who knows where we would have finished at here for the qualifying. But in 10th place for the qualifying, we're just saying hello to everybody, making sure that everyone has a nice race and a clean race. Let's see what we can do here now as we jump into the intro. So, jumping into the intro, the strategy for this race was a very simple one. We were given the mediums and the soft compound tires. The mediums were the required ones, but what we were going to do in our personal strategy is we're going to start off on the mediums, try to run them up until about lap 11 or 12, and then switch them off for the soft. So we're going to do a one stop here. Don't really have to worry about the fuel. I know a couple of cars did have to manage their fuel, but for us, we were going to be all right in the Vipers. So let's see what we can do here, and hopefully we can come home with a great points finish. Jumping into the race now, we get our 3, 2, 1, and away we go. Starting off once again in 10th place, we are right behind AMS Java as we cross the start finish line. Fast forwarding into turn number 1, we go very cautiously into turn number 1 because right there you're going to see the Mitsubishi goes a little bit wide, and I believe he is going to be the very first victim of this penalty-filled race here as he gets a half a second penalty going into turn number 2. And he goes onto the outside. AMS Java takes advantage of his penalty situation. We decided to go for a little cutback right here. We'll go onto the left-hand side, and it's now side by side with Drustar here as we cross this penalty zone. It's a service penalty right here, and we are able to promote ourselves into 9th place as Standucci gets a little peek onto the inside. We brake later than him, and we're able to hold off our 9th place position now as we jump into lap number 3. Now, on lap number 3, we decided ourselves, hey, I want to go to the left-hand side and go a little bit wide off of turn number 1, and so do the 2 cars ahead of us. So all 3 of us get half a second penalties. A little frustrating here, but we get overtaken by Standucci because of that, and we have to serve a penalty and lose another position. So in just the span of 1 lap, we've lost 2 positions because of my simple mistake. And now we just kind of have to deal with it here as we're right behind the Corvette of CRG coming off the final corner. Now, on lap number 5 here, CRG goes a little bit wide as another car gets a half a second penalty up ahead. Expecting to see CRG to get a penalty, but look at that. He does not get a penalty, so it's very, very lucky. But unfortunately, the car ahead of him gets another penalty. So 2 cars having penalties into the penalty zone. Get a very great run to AMS Java as we come into the final corner. All over his back bumper, he brakes a little early, and we did not brake soon enough. And we make a little bit of contact with his rear, getting 1 second penalty, but not only that, an awesome SR down. And we have to serve that coming into lap number 6 here. as we pass the penalty zone, lose another position, and we get demoted back into 12th place as we are now jumping into lap number 9. So penalties. That has been the name of the game for this race. As the best way you can do really well around this race is making sure that you don't get a penalty, because look at that, 2 more cars get a penalty just for running wide off of turn number 1. The track limits on this track are ridiculous, but I mean, I understand why they have it this tight, because you just have to be on top of your toes. You don't want to have people running too wide on a couple of these corners and gain about 2/10, 3/10 of a lap on the lap, especially because the lap is so short. And it's just a little frustrating, because you're so fickle on the racing. You accidentally don't know where you're going out on track limits, and you just find yourself getting a half a second penalty. But a little more forward into the race. That's enough of my rant. We are on lap number 10, and a couple of cars are now starting to feel the heat as their tires are now starting to go away because they started on the soft. So we are on the mediums, so the mediums are holding off pretty well here on lap number 11 as a couple more cars come into the pits. Later comes into the pits, and a couple guys ahead of us come in. So me and CRG, I believe CRG is on the mediums as well. We're just rolling around here, just taking it very easily. I'm staying right behind him. Don't want to force ourselves into some battle and lose some time, as if we stayed nose to tail and just run our laps, we should be all right here. We should come out in a good position now as we come into the pits for our service. We're going to switch off from the mediums to the softs as we take this entrance into this awkward right-hander going into the pits. Come in here, we switch off our tires, and now we are on the softs. So everybody else around us should be on the mediums. There might be 1 or 2 guys trying the same strategy as us, but that should be the advantage for us since we are on the softs. We should be faster than the guys ahead of us as we pass this second corner here. Judica gets a half a second penalty, and at this point I'm not really surprised, because again, everyone's just getting penalties. But we do get a great run off of the left-hander going on to turn number 3, and we go to the left-hand side of Judica, get a great run. He has to serve his penalty, and we are now promoted into 12th position and set our sights on the cars right ahead of us as a couple more guys come into the pits here, as they came in just a tad bit later than everybody else. But we find ourselves in 10th place, and we do have a pretty good gap behind us, so all we have to do is just keep it on the track and capitalize on these guys with the penalties, as DSLC had a service penalty right up ahead. Getting a really great run into the final 2 corners. We're almost on his rear bumper here. I'm just being very cautious going into this final corner. I don't want to accidentally make contact with his rear bumper, as we already did that earlier in the race. But we do get a great run off of the final corner. Take a little peek onto the inside, just kind of show him that we're there, and see if we can intimidate him a little bit as he gets a little bit loose going off of turn number 1. AMS Java does have a half a second penalty, so another one to the penalty book here, as I believe that's like the 30th or 40th penalty in this race. But he's going to have to serve it, and I don't know if we're going to be close enough as we come out of this right-hander. Right behind DSLC, we're just staying right behind the slipstream, and as we pass the zone right here, AMS Java is on our inside. We're going side by side into the final 2 corners. He kind of pinches us out wide as we go a little bit to the left-hand side. Got very, very nervous there, because I don't know if I extended track limits, but it looks like they were very lenient on that one, and the penalty gods did not give us a penalty, thank God. But we do get a great exit on the final corner. On the inside of AMS Java, we attempt to make an overtake here as we go into the first corner, and he just gets a better exit than us here as he pinches us on the inside. And he's able to hold off his 9th place position compared to us. So coming into the final corner, we've seen this before. Unfortunately, the first time we made contact with the AMS Java's rear, and we did get a 1 second penalty, but this time we were able to get through it cleanly, and we go into the slipstream once again, go onto the inside, almost deja vu of the lap prior, but we have to back out of there, just too far back to attempt the overtake. And we're just stuck right behind him here, as it's starting to get a little bit more frustrating since we only have about 6 laps left on this race. We decide to go for a very, very optimistic move, almost on the dirt gravel right there, since we try to go all the way to the right hand side, and all that's going to do is cost us here and give us a 1 second penalty. So at this point, I'm just doing everything I can to not destroy my controller, just because I was so pissed off about all the penalties we were getting. And just to add insult to injury, we go a little bit wide off the final corner. And we get another half a second penalty. So now we are up into 1.5 seconds of penalties for this one. I believe in total we have about 3 seconds of penalties. Again, it's just so infuriating because we could have been up probably in 8th or 7th place if we wouldn't have not had to receive all those infractions. And look at that, we have to serve it, and we are luckily in 11th place still. But again, we could have been a lot better off right now, as a couple of these guys ahead of us had to serve their penalties. So off of turn number 1, go a little bit wide, and you guys guess it, another penalty here. So another half a second penalty, crossing the penalty zone. And I believe if you guys are doing shots for every penalty, or every word I say that is a penalty, you guys are probably drunk and probably throwing up here because you guys are having alcohol poisoning. Please don't do that. But anyway, CRG gives us the spot there, and we're able to get around him as we are now on the final lap. So somehow we are in 9th place. Not sure exactly how we've managed to do that, but again, we are on the soft, so that means that our tires are basically gone here on this final lap. On PSRG or PSRT owner, gosh, I don't know where my English went. It's on our inside off the turn number 2, and we're doing a pretty good battle here. Nice little scrap going on our final lap. Unfortunately, due to this battle, we're going to lose this time to 8th place, but you can see we make a little bit of contact going into the final 2 corners. On the outside here, we're trying to pinch him down, but he gives us a little bit of a nudge tap, and we lose 9th place position on the final 20 seconds here of the race. And we're just going to try to get into the slipstream, see if we can do anything here, but unfortunately, we're just going to have to come home in 10th place. And we were unable to get that 9th place away from owner. So just again, very, very frustrating, because if we would have not gotten those 3 seconds or 4, actually now that I think about it, it went up to like 4.5, 5 seconds. Who knows, we probably could have finished in 7th or 6th, as Strava was right ahead of us majority of the race, and you can see he finished up in 6th place. So costed us about 20-30 points here for the FIA manufacturer standings. But again, I can't blame anybody else besides ourselves, because we were the one that mainly got the penalties due to our own fault. So like I said, just have to place blame on ourselves and pick our heads up, and hopefully we can get a better finish on the next FIA race. So let me know how you guys did around this race. If you guys did well, comment that down below. If you guys did bad as well, comment that down below. And hopefully guys you enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please subscribe and leave a like on the video, since you guys made it this far into it, as it really helps out the channel when you guys do that. And if you guys want to follow me on the Twitters or follow me on Instagram, all that is in the description down below, so you can do all that as well. And if you found this video very entertaining, which I hope you guys did, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace out.